Yes, this job has certainly changed me. I've discovered something new about myself. It all started harmlessly enough with a telephone call. It was a well-known international corporation. Switch on the TV, they said. A Pingu film is on. I'm a private investigator. I specialize in commercial and economic information. Their problem was Pingu. At the time, they thought Pingu was just a cartoon character, but they wanted to know more about him, because this little penguin seemed to be having tremendous success. They wanted me to find out why this penguin was so successful. I took the job. I started making some inquiries, and it wasn't long before I discovered some quite extraordinary things. Browsing through television magazines in the search for information, I found out that the Pingu films are shown around the world by more than 100 television stations. In Britain, Pingu has been made famous by the BBC. And in Latin America, where people have a totally different mentality, his adventures are followed by millions of viewers. In Japan, it was the electronics giant Sony who made the character popular. Now he's about to take the United States by storm. Carefully targeted promotional work is going on at the moment in Germany. A campaign right in front of the Brandenburg Gate draws attention to the fact that Pingu can currently be seen 3 times a week on the 2nd state television station. Pingu is as popular in the east of the country as he is in the west. The Pingu films are produced in Switzerland at a studio near Zurich by the Editoy Company in collaboration with cartoon film specialist Ottmar Gutmann. Ottmar Gutmann has achieved considerable prominence as the father of Pingu. He made the first pilot film for Swiss television in 1986. Ottmar told me that episode number 40 will soon be in the can. 3-dimensional clay figures are used in the animation process. I was amazed by the incredible amount of detail involved in a single Pingu episode. The Pingu films have received many international awards for artistic merit at festivals such as Berlin, Cairo, New York, and Tokyo. Further Pingu investigations took me to Milan, Italy. In the window of a bookshop, I saw that the character also seems to be well known in other media. There are Pingu books, Pingu videos, and even Pingu audio cassettes and CDs in various languages. The well-known Piero Dami publishing house of Milan has an international reputation for high-quality children's books. I discovered a Greek edition of a Pingu book here. Pingu books are available in many languages: English, French, and even Icelandic. These children's books are all printed by De Agostini, the prestigious Italian media group. Already more than 10 volumes have been published in each language. Pingu has similar adventures on paper to those in his films. The books are helping the little penguin to gain more and more admirers around the world.
Pingu è stato un grande successo, un successo che
Pingu
noi
has been a tremendous success, even much more than any of us ever expected. We've sold more than 1,250,000 copies in more than 10 countries, and we're currently doing promotions in a number of others based on the Pingu television series.
I found Pingu in Japanese publications for romantic teenagers, in British youth magazines, but also in Swiss daily newspapers. Pingu's popularity as a comic strip character is growing fast. Comics that feature him enjoy unbelievable circulations. Because of this tremendous international exposure, it's necessary to draw on the services of graphic artists and illustrators from many countries. It's especially important to keep an eye on the appearance and charm of the Pingu character. In Japan, Pingu is traditionally depicted more simply than, say, in Italy, where, in the home of Michelangelo, they go for a more artistic effect. The films ensure that the essential character of Pingu remains the same throughout the world. His creators make this a priority. Pingu always has a positive approach to life and takes things as they come. But he's also slightly cheeky, and that's what makes him such a favorite with children. Pingu's originators at Editoy in Switzerland make sure that he maintains his integrity. In these increasingly more hectic and technology-oriented times, Pingu, who comes from the South Pole, is perceived as an ambassador for a world that is intact. Pingu, with his jerky, upright gait, is not merely an amusing fictional character. Seemingly more human than animal, he's a bearer of hope, a friendly creature who makes a lasting impression on the subconscious. Pingu is especially popular with children under the age of 10. It didn't take me long to realize that. But a surprising number of adults also regularly watch his television series. Pingu has become a media star and hence an object of public interest. In the world of graffiti, he keeps only the very best company. In New York, he's the star guest at a film festival and draws thousands of people into the cinema. Despite his self-effacing manner, Pingu represents serious competition for other cartoon characters. In the Museum of Television and Radio in New York, Pingu is already treated as a personality alongside other famous film stars. The museum has an ingenious database that enables researchers and other interested parties to call up information about Pingu. They can then order the desired films through the in-house video network. Pingu and his films have already been referred to in various scientific papers. Naturally, that means making more friends. Media experts have the following to say about Pingu's international success.
When we put the festival together, which took over a year, and it involved inquiries to scores of countries around the world, it was very clear that Pingu would be part of this festival. One of the reasons, obviously, it was included is that it shows clay animation and how effectively it can be used. But Pingu also has a universality to it, even though the characters don't speak English or any language that anybody can understand. The story that it tells and the universality of the story that it has to tell has captured everybody's imagination and everybody's enthusiasm, both the public and, quite frankly, even the staff here at the museum. I think what's critical to Pingu is the fact that it is good storytelling. It is something that everybody can relate to, and it's been very successful here at our festival, and I'm sure it will be very successful when it comes to the United States and is shown on regular television.
Pingu's public appearances are always associated with something positive. That's part of the image-building strategy. Here at Zurich Zoo, rather like a Robin Hood of the animal world, Pingu has collected money that will be used to pay for restoration work on the enclosures. Pingu, as I gradually came to realize, has achieved his great popularity because, despite being a young penguin, he somehow represents all that's positive in the human experience. More and more, I see him as a symbol for an unspoiled natural world. Penguins inhabit a vast area that is remote from any sign of civilization. Pingu seems to awaken in us a yearning for this perfect, dreamlike world. As I said to my client, maybe Pingu represents something new for me, too. The little fellow never does anything bad. He has a trusting nature and is always ready to help. I began to understand why children find Pingu so appealing. So it was not surprising that the cartoon character would also be popular in a more tangible form, as a toy. Shortly before Christmas, the Pingu ships in Zurich and Lucerne are veritable Aladdin's caves for his multitude of young and not so young admirers. Under the supervision of trained nursery school teachers, the children can play, watch Pingu films, or make their own little Pingus. There are also Pingu shops where Pingu merchandise is available. And it's available in a wide variety of forms. By using a Pingu instead of the traditional but anonymous figure, long-forgotten games receive a new lease of life. For many children, Pingu is already the teddy bear of the 1990s. There is also a Pingu designer label and a Pingu fashion collection. It occurred to me that all these Pingu products are extremely child-friendly, both in overall concept and in the materials from which they're made. A Pingu sun cream, for example, is extremely mild. Pingu and chocolate. The connection here is clear. Not every manufacturer is granted the sought-after Pingu license. There are very clear specifications concerning image and meaningful associations with the established Pingu world. The Pingu logo is a symbol that really stands for something. Only merchandise of branded product quality is allowed to bear the Pingu stamp of approval. The special feature of this chocolate is that the wrappers can also serve as toys. Healthy, natural products are ideal for children. In the case of Pingu cheese, for example, this means cheese with an especially mild flavor that is matured without chemical additives in a natural cellar. Pingu cheese is just one example of several hundred licenses that have been granted in numerous product categories. The consumer can be secure in the knowledge that any product bearing the Pingu name, such as yogurt in glass jars, has passed the rigorous tests imposed by Editoy. I checked that out with those responsible.
Pingu represents something natural. In marketing terms, that means we want our products to be natural and above all educational. We want them to help children to learn. We don't want our products to be used for empty time killing. They should motivate. For example, we found out that Pingu is being used very successfully as a teaching aid in nurseries and kindergartens.
At Editoy, I saw that Pingu has become a truly international brand name. The cartoon films shown on television promote acceptance of the brand name and vice versa. Editoy selects its business associates extremely carefully. In the Far East, Sony is the general licensee for the whole of Asia. Japan Airlines, which distributes Pingu flight souvenirs, is another important Pingu licensee. Swiss Air, too, uses Pingu to stimulate positive response. Pingu flies with Swiss Air all over the world. And that's how I wound up my investigations into the Pingu phenomenon. Somewhere along the way, I had stumbled across a basic truth. There's a little bit of Pingu in each of us. There's something, how shall I put it, something almost archetypal about him. Pingu somehow represents what we humans call public spirit. And this is the message that he bears out into the world. It's not only young children who look to Pingu as a model. Grown-ups, too, sometimes feel like becoming like him to rediscover naturalness and simple fun. And so it was that even my own daughter didn't recognize me when she and her mother called by one day.
Pingu!